Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to Robbie Rants live here on a Saturday night. Got things going on tomorrow, so we're doing a Saturday night tonight. What's up everybody? Welcome to Robbie Rants live here on Pop Culture Philosophers. We're just going to kick back. We're going to sit and chill. We're going to talk about comic books, movies, pop culture, all that and more. What's up, Roman? How you doing? So I'm Rockin Robbie Phillips. I am at Pop Culture Philosophers. We do the weekly comic book review, all that stuff. We're going to be talking about the upcoming comic books next week. We're going to be looking at the list of that. We're going to be chatting about lots of different stuff. So let me know when you come in. Let me know when you're here, who you are. We like chatting with you guys about pop culture. We usually start with a look at next week's upcoming comics. Now, I do not have the official list from previews this week yet. I'll get that tomorrow. But we can look at comicslist.com. So like just take this with a grain of salt, is what I would say. Aftershock Comics, we have Baby Teeth number 12. I've really been enjoying Baby Teeth from Donny Cates. He's doing amazing work right now. He's definitely up there as one of the top writers of the year so far. Archie Meets Batman 66 number 2 is out this week from Archie Comics Publications. That's super cool. At least I think so. From Boom Studios, we got By Night number 3, Coda number 4, Ruin World number 2. Ruin World was actually pretty interesting. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 3. I believe that's the finale to Shattered Grid, so that's exciting. WWE number 20. Whoever reads WWE comics, I'm sure they're cool. Those covers by Dan Moore have been dope. They've been awesome. Dark Horse has Ether the Copper Golems number 4. Another Hellboy Omnibus, Complete Short Stories number 2. That's really cool. That's super cool. And we're about to get to DC Comics. What's up, Iron Galactus? How you guys doing? We typically do this on Sunday nights. We're doing it on Saturday night this night because I got plans tomorrow. And next Sunday I'll have plans. But next Sunday we're going to do it the following Monday that we typically would. But here we are. I know a lot of people are used to Sunday, so I don't think we're going to have too many people up here. A lot of things going on Saturday nights, especially at the end of summer. What's up? Hey, bro. How you doing? We're about to look at the upcoming DC Comics. You know, Jeremy, what are your favorite comic books? I don't know if I've ever asked you that question. I would like to know. Oh, man, Dr. Doom's the best. Dr. Doom's the best. Seriously, I don't think there's a better villain in fiction than Dr. Doom. I don't think there's a better villain in fiction and nonfiction than Dr. Doom. I really seriously think Dr. Doom's the best. Victor is my jam. The jam. Yes, it's the end of the dog days of summer. Down here in the southeastern United States, it is incredibly hot. Oh my goodness. It's like, so all day today, I have all these different conversations with people. And they all start with, man, it's really hot, right? And it's like, there's a piece of me that's like, we just talk about the weather, right? We just talk about the weather, small talk, right? But like, my lady was like, you say this literally every day in summer, Robbie. And I'm like, yeah, and we live in Alabama. We should be used to it. I told my stylist today, I was like, it's hot today. Sorry, I'm so sweaty. He's like, yeah, absolutely. And then, I'm like, but it's Alabama. Why do we keep talking about it? Oh man, that's way worse for you than Brian A. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. The first time I went down to South Florida, we're driving. We drive from North Alabama to South Florida. And it's a crazy overnight drive, and that was fun and everything. But we're driving, and it's like the middle of the afternoon. And my buddy that we're meeting in Pompano Beach, or is it Pompano Bay? Somewhere around there, right? Like near Fort Lauderdale. So we go down there, and he calls me, and he's like, hey, man, where you at? I was like, well, we're like at West Palm Beach. He's like, cool. You've hit the line. Roll down your windows. I was like, what's up? He's like, just roll down your windows. Roll down the windows. Dude. Oh my goodness, it's terrible. God. It's like such a difference. Such a difference. People that live north of me come down here and they're like, oh, it's so hot down here. I'm like, yeah, it is. And we feel that way too. But dude, go down to South Florida or below. That's crazy. Jeremy says some of his favorite stories, because I've asked him what his favorite comic books were. Long Halloween, Dark Victory, Dark Knight Returns. Those are solid answers. They're all Batman, though. Is Batman the only thing that you've read? Because if so, I've got lots of stuff I can recommend you, homie. But thank you for joining us. Yeah, Pompano Beach. Yeah, Pompano Beach was a fun trip. We went down there and of course down to Fort Lauderdale, Lottie Dottie, as they say. And we went down to Miami for a day. And it was fun, but it was hot. It was really, really hot. It was seriously it's like July or something. June, July, something like that. It was hot at night. I mean, that happens here, but like, man, it was something else down there. Like you just feel it. I mean, it's very humid where I'm at, but it's just like a whole other zone down there, man. What's up, Armin? How you doing? What's up, buddy? Yeah, I agree, man. I've driven through New Orleans, but I've never actually stood in New Orleans. And I can imagine how hot it is. I count my blessings that I'm not further south and not further north because, you know, the cats up in the north, they may think it's hot, but like when we think it's cold, it ain't near what they have to deal with up there. Luckily for us. But man, it's hot. You talking about Fantastic Four, the end pages of Fantastic Four #1? There may be some slight spoilers tonight, guys, from Fantastic Four #1 and other books that came out tonight. I'm trying not to spoil it too much. But yeah, that end story with Doctor Doom, that was awesome, and I'm super pumped for that. That was my favorite bit of the whole thing in Fantastic Four. But I really did think it was a really good setup issue. And that's what it was. It was a setup issue, but I thought it was a good one. Yeah. Yeah, when you wake up in the morning, you look at the temperature and it's already above 80. It's done. Yeah, Flashpoint is good, Jeremy. Absolutely. Absolutely. We're about to get into the DC Comics. You know, Jeremy, I got a video series that just started this week. It's called Robbie's Top 5. And the first episode was Fantastic Four. The next episode is Batman, and some of the books that you were mentioning are going to be on that list. And then after that, it's going to be a Superman video about Superman comic books. I'd recommend some of those to you, buddy. But just come see me personally, because we know each other. And if you ever want to read something, man, tell me some of your favorite movies, and I'll know the right book to get you, whether it's superhero or not, because there's so much non-superhero fantastic stuff out right now. We're going to look at the upcoming DC Comics for the week, guys, coming out Wednesday. And as I said earlier, this is from comicslist.com, so take this with a grain of salt. It's not really official. Sometimes they get the dates wrong. Aquaman number 39 is what they say. Batgirl number 25. Batman number 53. Did we just have a Batman? No, we didn't just have a Batman. That was last week, right? That was 2 weeks ago. Batwoman number 18. That might be the final issue. Might be. Green Lanterns number 53. That might be the final issue or nearing the final issue. If you're a trade waiter and been waiting a very long time, JSA by Jeff Johns, Volume 2 is out this week. Justice League number 6 is out this week. Scott Snyder shared his video and his little introduction to it. If you haven't been following Scott Snyder's YouTube channel, I highly recommend it. Fantastic stuff. Brian Hill also just launched one. Scott Snyder does these neat little, he'll like do these little previews for upcoming issues of like Justice League and things like that. And that's really cool to see some of his ideas about it. And it's like a sneak peek for the issue, right? But he does these creator talks. He's done 2 so far with Sean Murphy and then one recently with Brian Hill. They're super long and they're not the highest quality with the audio or the video, but man, they are superbly interesting to me. And Brian Hill just did a Q&A today, and I've only seen just bits and pieces of it because it happened when I was at work. So, but yeah. See, and this one says Pearl number 1's out this week. I didn't think Pearl number 1 was out this week. I thought it was FOC for Pearl. Maybe I'm thinking of cover. Comics List says Pearl's out this week. I guess that wouldn't be too far off. Wildstorm number 16, if that hits, that's going to be really exciting. I hate the fact that I'm so second guessing what's actually coming out. I never know for sure until I get that official list. Usually I get that official list on Monday. There's not too much I'm following from Dynamite, but I will say this. Kelly Thompson's been tearing up Nancy Drew. And even if you don't think you're a Nancy Drew fan, because I wasn't, you should read that book. It's really good. Really good stuff. IDW, Sonic the Hedgehog, number 8. I know there's a huge fan base for that, isn't there? Huge. Some Turtles books from Image Comics. Before we get to the Image Comics, let's just say what's up, guys. How you doing? Yeah, Snyder's videos are awesome. What's up, Armin? How you doing? Good to see you up here, man. I love his videos. I love them so much. I really appreciate him taking the time to do those. I really, really do. Yeah, but at the same time, he's not really a YouTuber. He's just a comic book writer. And so it's just cool to get that inside look. I'll be honest with you, man. We don't do the most pristine execution here, I think, at PCP. But sometimes you just want to, the content, I guess, really matters. Then the content from Scott Snyder's channel is really, really good. But I do hope that he figures out some of the audio issues. What's up, Patch? How you doing? Welcome back. I am having a delicious Saturday. Thank you so much. I hope you are too. I guess I'm pumped for the new Hellboy. I think David Harbour, is that his name? I think he's going to do an excellent job. I'm very, very excited for that. I'm a huge hardcore Hellboy fan, and I'm very excited for that. So, is there anything new to add to the hype? Like I haven't seen any new images or a trailer or nothing. But it comes out next year, so we should be seeing stuff soon for that. I mean, Harbour looks awesome as Hellboy. I think it's good. Gideon Falls is one of the best books of the year, so everybody's telling me that that's coming out this week. So let's look at the Image Comics. Analog number 5, Coyotes returns apparently with number 5. Crowded number 1 is a new one coming out. Trade Waiters East to West Volume 8 is out this week. Flavor number 4. Now remember, take these with a grain of salt. Some of these may not actually drop, but most of them probably will. Gideon Falls number 6. Yes, guys, I agree with you. Gideon Falls right now is my favorite comic book of the year. I've been thinking about this hard because I'm going to do the end of the year video and all that stuff. So I've been anticipating that, and I've been kind of keeping some notes about what I think is just really, really solid. So far, Gideon Falls is the top dog. Ice Cream Man number 6 is out this week. The final volume, Killer Be Killed, is out this week. Magic Order number 3 is on schedule for this week. Manifest Destiny number 36. I fell out of that like 12 issues ago. Weatherman number 3. Wicked and the Divine, number 38. But it just says cover B. So that's like sneaky stuff. I don't know if I believe that at all. We're about to get to Marvel Comics. I did not read Brother Nash. I was talking to my homie Lance today about Jeff Lemire. And when I first heard of Jeff Lemire, it was really, I heard about him before with things like Sweet Tooth and stuff like that. I never read it. And it was Animal Man was the first like regular thing I read by him, and I'm like, Animal Man is pretty decent, it's pretty good. And then he did Justice League United. I was like, Then he jumped over to Marvel, and he did Old Man Logan. I thought his Old Man Logan was pretty solid. But before that, I thought his X-Men run was really weak. So I just wouldn't honestly feel like I didn't think like Lemire was that big of a deal. But right now, he's to me the writer of the year, and it's books like Descender, Royal City, Black Hammer. What he's being able to accomplish in that. Now, we went back and did that Green Arrow series with Sorrentino. That I just loved. I just loved that so much, but it was totally short-lived, right? It didn't last long enough, at least in my opinion. But I really like his Green Arrow run. And so I was really pumped when they did Old Man Logan, and I thought it was pretty solid. It was pretty decent. It was good exploration of Wolverine's life, Old Man Logan's life in particular. But now I want to go back and reread things like Roughneck, Essex County, Sweet Tooth, because I feel like there was an early part of his career that I totally missed out. But yeah, I have not read Sweet Tooth at all. At all, man. I know it cracks me out. Armin says, right now his top 3 books are number 3, Gideon Falls, number 1, Mr. Miracle. Mr. Miracle is so solid right now, and we got 2 issues left, and it made book one of the books. I think last year I put it at my number 3, and I think I even said it's not top 2 yet because it hasn't finished, and they got to nail that ending. If it nails the ending, it's up there. It's top 3 for sure. And Justice League, absolutely. Right now, just superhero comic book of 2018. Last year it was Hawkeye. This year it's Justice League. So much. I'm flashbacking to when I was a kid. Not really a kid, but when I was like 15-year-old reading Grant Morrison's Justice League with Howard Porter, that's what I feel like right now, and it cracks me out. I love it. I love it. Let's look at the upcoming Marvel comics. I got some toys here too. We're finally unpacking some of the toys, some more of the toys. So I'll be showing some of that off today as well. For Marvel Comics, on the schedule from Comics List, we got Astonishing X-Men #1, annual #1. If that's Rosenberg, I'm solid with that because I'm loving what Rosenberg's doing right now on Astonishing X-Men. Cable Deadpool annual #1. Deadpool Assassin #5. Doctor Strange #4. Edge of Spider-Geddon #1. So getting ready for that. Extermination #1 is scheduled to start this week, guys. That's exciting. I think so. Infinity Wars #2 scheduled. Claws of a Killer Hunt for Wolverine #4 is on schedule this week. Multiple Man #3. Spectacular Spider-Man 308. Star Wars Beckett #1 with the Woody Harrelson character from the Solo movie. Tony Stark Iron Man #3. Thor #4. Weapon H #6. Weapon X #22. Anything else of relevance to talk to you guys about? Street Fighter Summer Sports Special from #1 from Udon Entertainment, if you're into that. Ninja K #10 from Valiant. It looks to be it. Vagrant Queen #3 from Vault Comics. That's exciting. I'm loving that book right now. I'm loving pretty much everything that Vault Comics is doing right now. I've been thinking about doing a top 5 Vault Comics video. But right now I'm going to say Maxwell's Demons, Wasted Space, Deep Roots, and there's a lot that I haven't read, guys. I really like Songs for the Dead. I really like cult classic Return to Whisper. It took me 2 reads to really get into it, but I'm liking that one. Speaking of Elliot Rahal, anybody here read Hot Lunch Special this week? That was my sleeper pick of the week. That and Blastosaurus. If you read those books, let me know. I want to know what you thought about them. Those books are really good, in my opinion. That looks to be all the comic books to talk about. So that's what's coming up this week. Submerge #1. Yeah, if Submerge stays at the level that it's out at right now, it's definitely going to hit one of my favorite Vault comics. And I haven't read a lot of their earlier stuff, but they got the Alien Bounty Hunter, they got Heathen, was it Zorajon or something like that? That just came out in trade. I haven't read that yet. I want to check those out because it was Maxwell's Demons that really got me interested in Vault. That was the book that led me to them, and they gave that book away for free comic book day. Issue 4 is coming soon, and I love that book so much. Maxwell's Demons is amazing, and Wasted Space too. Those 2 books right there, fantastic stuff. I'm really liking Justice League, Brian. I think it's really, really good. I think it's a different level of Scott Snyder, but because it's okay. So big, giant superhero type stuff like Justice League, right? It needs to be just the craziest, most epic threats, right? And so because of what happened at the end of Metal, when the heroes had to basically break the source wall, and that's a big deal to DC fans. What's been unleashed into the DC universe, into the multiverse, is some crazy, crazy stuff. And then you add in what he's doing with Luthor. And a lot of people may be like, well, those event comics, those big, giant slam bang things, they're good and they're cool with they're high concept and they're wild. But they don't really take time to explain things, and they don't really have a lot of characterization. Now, Scott Snyder's writing Justice League just like he wrote Metal. It's in your face, coming at you. It's going to grab you by the throat. It's going to drag you through DC cosmic craziness, and it's not going to slow down for you, okay? So that's the kind of book this is. And that's why, to me, it feels a little bit like a Grant Morrison type DC thing, right? It just grabs you and just runs you through. But it will eventually start. It does fill in its own gaps as it goes. I think it's better on multiple reads, and I've read each issue multiple times. And it is chock full of characterization. The whole book mostly is about the characterization of the Legion of Doom. And if you follow Scott Snyder's YouTube channel, you're going to find out what each member of the Legion of Doom represents as far as truth goes. Because the truth of the matter is that justice does not win. There is no justice. It's only doom. And so that's what Lex is doing. And what Snyder has done with Lex, this is the Lex that I've always wanted. Corporate businessman, crazy, mad scientist, evil, all in one ball. And I love it. It's like the best of all Lexes, right? And Martian Manhunter's back in the fourfold. And that dynamic between Manhunter collapsing, like holding on tight to this idea, this idea that's going to fail of justice, and Luther with this idea of entropy, of chaos, and how that is the true nature of the universe and the world, in particular Earth. I love that so much. I think Snyder's doing a hell of a job with that. And Jimenez's artwork, Chung's artwork, Monkey's artwork, fantastic stuff so far. One is seriously everything I could dream of. I did a video not too long ago. It's Robbie Rants. And I talked about how we deserve a better Justice League book. And I thought that Brian Hitch wasn't doing the best job. And he was doing an all right job. But it's a big book. And you need to have your biggest talents there. And Brian Hitch is a big artistic talent, but not necessarily a big, writing talent. So they move Snyder, Jimenez. They get Jim Chung over there. Sold. Do a fill-in issue every 5 issues, and it's about the Legion of Doom, and it's James Tynion and Doug Mahnke. Yeah, I'm sold. Best superhero comic book out there. Patch, the goal of the extermination event is basically what I think is to get rid of the whole yesterday's X-Men type thing. All the time-displaced X-Men, the young Jean, Bobby, Scott, Hank, and Warren, to get rid of them. To wrap that up and deal with it finally. I think that's what extermination is going to be about. And also to set up Magneto again as a villainous anti-hero. And then the disassembled story, which I'll talk more about that in the weekly pop culture wrap-up tomorrow morning. That whole event will be to kind of shake out what's been going on in the X-Men for the last few years and get it ready for a fresh start, if you will. Well, Brian, I hope you like Hot Lunch Special because I really, really did. Jorge Fornes did the artwork. He did the artwork on Magnus last year, the Kyle Higgins book. It's kind of like Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep meets The Matrix, and I absolutely adored it. It made my top 10 of 2017. If you haven't read that, I highly encourage you to check it out. This dude's a top-notch artist. Elliot Rahal is a pretty decent writer, and this is the best thing I've read from him. It's a really good crime story involving an immigrant family's food business, and it was really, really good. What's up, Alexander? Alexander, there are more issues to come. They're definitely coming, so just stay tuned, and they will come. I am assured of that. Yeah, it seems like Vault has some issues sometimes with their scheduling because it seems like it's meant to schedule, but Diamond doesn't actually get them out on time. I saw people on Twitter last week talking about Vagrant Queen #3 already, and I was like, what? We didn't get it. So I think it's going to come this week, though. But I'm liking that one. It's kind of like a super, like someone quoted this, and I thought I had said this at some point, too, but it's kind of like a snarky-ass Han Solo. But with a little bit of a different dynamic. But it's definitely, it's Solo-esque, and I like it. I like it a lot. I really like Submerged #1. I thought it was a really cool allegory type thing. I'm very excited to see where it's going to go because it's going to be one of those books where future issues will elevate the first issue. Yeah, we got a good Justice League book right now. Are you saying you're rereading all of the 90s Justice League? The Grant Morrison stuff was top notch. I loved that stuff so much. I still think it's one of my favorite superhero comic books of all time. It's my favorite Justice League run. But Snyder's given that run a run for its money. I hate it when I think of things like that and then I just say them without editing myself. It's a terrible thing to say. Yeah, it is totally like Magnus Robot Fighter, but it's a completely new interpretation on the idea. For instance, they gender swapped the character, so Magnus is a woman now, but she's someone. Okay, so the robots, the way this works in this iteration of Magnus Robot Fighter is that the robots, in order to keep them sane and grounded, they have to upload their consciousness onto this cloud, that this world that exists in this AI cloud, and they become a part of that. And they have to do that at least like 2 hours after every 8 hours or something in the real world. It keeps them sane. It keeps them grounded, keeps them from going insane and killing their masters, right? And so you can get that whole aspect to it. So Magnus is someone who the government or some corporation or whoever, maybe they were contracted by the government, I don't remember specifically, but she was someone who was one of the only humans who could go into that cloud on her own and become a part of it. So it's like the Matrix a little bit in that, but with its themes, it's very Matrix, but it's also very Philip K. Dickian, right? Dickian? It's very Dickian, if that makes sense, with ideas, not just from Blade Runner, but from the original story of Do the Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So it's got some cool philosophical type questions, but this starts off where now she has given up doing that. And now she is a psychologist, and she's trying to help these AI come to terms with their emotions and ground themselves in a way that like you would with a human. And there's this, all of a sudden there's this murder case. So the book starts out and one of the robots has killed its owners, right? And then it disappears into the cloud. So they have to call Magnus up. You got to come out of retirement, jump into the AI cloud and find this AI so we can make an example of him. And it's really good. It's just like 5 issues, but it's so good. Best work I've ever seen from Kyle Higgins, ever read from Kyle Higgins. And Jorge Fornes, who was the artist on Hot Lunch Special, just did some of the best artwork I had ever seen in 2017 in that book. Absolutely. The beer that I'm drinking right now is my typical beer that I drink, and it's Monkey Knot. Straight to Ale's Monkey Knot. Straight to Ale is a brewery from my hometown. I really love everything they do. A few breweries here for now. When I was a kid and when I was in my 20s, we didn't have that luxury, but now we finally do. They've loosened up a lot of those laws, and now we got a lot of nice breweries and things like that. And Straight to Ale is one of my favorites, and Monkey Knot is their just standard IPA, and it's delicious, and I love it. And you should highly check it out. I highly recommend that you check it out, I should say. Yeah, JLA is dope. You know, Patch, in the long run, I think that the New 52 Justice League will go down in remembrance because it was actually, I think that the New 52 Justice League was pretty solid. I think the highlight of it is the Throne of Atlantis story. I think ultimately, though, we're going to look back at it as a big moment, but we're as like some of the best JLA stories out there. I think that's just me. I don't think so. I think that a lot of the run was weak personally. I thought the origin story is pretty good. The villain's journey story was a little weak. The New 52 just felt like something was missing. It was a little rushed. I was all hyped for the New 52 when it was first going on. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Like, I'm the first person to be like, they're doing something crazy. Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what happens. Throw it on the wall. If it sticks, go with it, right? That's kind of how I approach like things. So it doesn't really bother me when they change stuff. But the New 52, the best thing it gave us was Wonder Woman, and they're kind of undoing that. But Wonder Woman's in a pretty decent state right now. Maybe I don't think Wonder Woman's been in good state since Rucka personally, but I think it's pretty good. But I don't think ultimately it's going to be known as one of the best runs in Justice League, but it's going to be remembered for sure. What am I reading right now other than comic books? I am reading right now Wizard in Glass, which is the 4th book in the Dark Tower series. That's what I'm reading right now. Other than that, I'm reading issues of DC Nation. But Dark Tower right now is taking up most of my energy. I'm loving the series, but they just keep getting longer and longer and longer, and it's really intimidating. I do like reading novels. I like reading a lot of novels. So it's really kind of taking up all my novel time to get through these Dark Tower books because it's a slow roll. What titles of what? Well, thank you, M. Duffy. I really appreciate that. Our response that we had to the top 5 video, the first one, was really, really good. So I really appreciate that, and I'm definitely going to do more. Second video is filmed. It's going to be coming out soon. It's going to be top 5 Batman comics. The next one's going to be top 5 Superman comics. After that, haven't really set it in stone. So if there's anything that you guys want to, see, just let me know. And I had a little poll over at the PC Army over on Facebook, and we went through that and got some good ideas from there, and some good ideas from other people. But a lot of it's going to be just basically top 5 blank comics, top 5 blank movies. I like doing stuff like that. Our podcast is designed around top 5. I like top 5. I think especially because of the movie High Fidelity. I love that movie. and it taught me the idea of the top 5, that it's better than a 10 or a 20 or something like that, because you really got to like get down and spotlight and highlight. And 5s are harder to do than top 10s, because you don't. It's a harder thing to do. And so our whole podcast that we do, if you've never listened to the podcast, please do. It's so funny. I think so. But I totally think that you guys should check it out and really like it. But every episode ends with the top 5, or whatever subject we're working on. And I love doing top 5s. It's one of my favorite things to do. No, Russell, I have not read the last issue of Saga. I have not read an issue of Saga since around like the early 20s. So I'm just way behind on that one. I would highly recommend The Dark Tower. Ultimately, I don't know how it ends. I'm pretty much right in the middle of it. But so far, what I've read, I really, really enjoy. I think Stephen King is a great author. My girlfriend, that's her favorite author. So I've been introduced to a lot of his work through her. I've always been familiar with Stephen King stories through movies and TV, and they don't always give you the best impression, do they? But I think a lot of movies are pretty solid that are based on his work. Green Mile, The Mist, Pet Sematary, Children of the Corn, Misery. Those are pretty solid. But I would recommend The Dark Tower, where I'm at right now. Really good Western fantasy sci-fi type stuff. I like it. Oh, well, thank you, Patch. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I have no idea, Thor, when the DC streaming service will come to your area. Dude, you're from that area? Excuse me. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Thank you for watching. That's a good idea. Top 5 comic writers. I pretty much got my top. Yeah. I'm going to write that down so I do that, Armin. Top 5 comic writers. Spoilers. Number 1 is Grant Morrison. Number 2 is Warren Ellis. The rest is kind of up in the air. But off the top of my head, Hickman is up there. For sure. Neil Gaiman, maybe. Maybe Alan Moore. Yeah, I'm going to do that one, though. I'm going to have to think about the other 3. But spoilers. Number 1 is going to be Grant Morrison. Number 2 is going to be Warren Ellis. It's been that way for a long time. And then adding that, we should do comic book artists, right? Top 5 comic book artists. So there you go. Cool stuff. Yeah, top 5 Vertigo comics. That's a good. I'm going to write these down. Top 5 Vertigo comics. Spoilers. Number 1 is The Invisibles. Vertigo comics. That's a good idea. I like that. DC villains. Heck yeah. Spoilers. Number 1 is either Lex or Darkseid. That's the top 2 right there. What did I think of Nuclear Man versus Rogal Zar? And how am I supposed to say this dude's name? Rogal Zar? That doesn't really flow off my tongue. I wish Bendis would have come up with a better name. Rogal Zar. I thought it was really funny because when Bendis was first dared to put the much hated villain from Superman 4 Quest for Peace into continuity, and he said, sure, I'll do it. And the way he did it, it was really funny. And I thought it was really funny. Super cool. Why, thank you, Lloyd. I do have a giant passion for comic books, and I have thought about writing comic books. I helped develop a comic book called Black Spec, which you can find over at dancepandacomics.com or on Comixology. It's called Black Spec. So I was the editor of that book and helped formulate the story with my buddy Lance Allen, and it has some fantastic artwork from Claudio Munoz and Amanda Whitley. And I think Lance really did a hell of a job with the script. It's an all-ages sci-fi book about the importance of the individual in the collective. And I thought it was a fantastic book, and I was proud to be a part of that. And I am writing a comic book this fall, winter. Probably more this winter. I'm writing a book to be developed with Lance over at Dance Panda. It's going to be a horror book. It's going to be a vampire book. And I'm also working on a web comic with my buddy Brooks, who we might know from the Movie Monday videos that we do here, our movie review show. So yes, I have always thought about writing comics. One time I wrote a script. I had this, so I used to run a comic shop back in the early 2000s, late 90s called Comic Corner / Rocket City Collectibles. And we had a group that met every Thursday called the Writer's Block. and we would do just little like, I don't know, we would do like just little exercises every week. And one of them was take an existing comic book and write a story for it. And so I chose 100 Bullets, and I wrote a 100 Bullet story where Agent Graves offers the 100 bullets to Ziggy Marley to take revenge on the CIA who were responsible for the death of his father, Bob Marley. So I've been writing comic books for a while, but I have none published. My only published work is being the editor over at Black Spec for Dance Panda Comics. So I would highly recommend that you check that out. But hopefully more will come, including this vampire book and this other book that I'm working on with a Brooks. There'll be a web comic, but we'll eventually collect it, hopefully in print. And I'm working with a local professional artist right now in a super top secret project that I'm not allowed to talk about. But his name is Kevin Stokes. I'm working with him and Lance and our homie Anthony Horton. We're working on something special for the fans. Middle of Norway. That's super cool. Thank you for watching, man. Oh, dude, and you're from France. That's super cool. We got some Europeans with us tonight. What time is it in Europe right now? You guys are ahead of us. It's pretty late there, isn't it? Top 5 90s comics. I like that. Top 5 90s comics. I think it's a overrated and an underrated era. Spoilers, number one's probably going to be Grant Morrison's JLA. Probably, if I had to guess. Could be a lot of stuff. Jeff Lemire, meaning your favorite writer right now? I think he's the best writer right now currently. I have never been to Europe. Ever been to Europe. Never been to Europe. I want to go. I want to go really bad. What's really crazy is like when people ask me, where do you want to go if you go to Europe for the first time? Lots of answers, right? I want to do the Dracula route. Like Dracula is my favorite novel of all time, and I really want to kind of visit all those spots in Dracula, from Romania to England. That's kind of like really what I want to do. Every single bit of it. Everybody usually in America, they always say they want to go to Paris. Maybe. I'm sure they got good wine, right? I like wine, so that's cool. I would love to go visit somewhere like Norway. A YouTuber I follow, he's a vegan bodybuilder named John Venus. I believe he's from Norway. It looks like beautiful land, absolutely. And some of the government. If you like Black Badge, you should read Mind Management. It's so good. It's crazy good. But Black Badge just didn't really move me, and I wish it would have. I don't know why it didn't. Who do I think picks up Gideon Falls? AMC. AMC would be a decent home for it. Maybe Showtime or HBO. That would be cool. Maybe. Sci-Fi could pick it up. Amazon. Netflix would be my choice. I really like Gideon Falls, and I think it's perfect. Perfect for television. It is 2:30 in the a.m. in France, and probably not too far from that in Norway. And it's 5:07 where Armenia is. That's Iran, right? Wow. Are you just getting up, or are you still up? What's up, Kanye Neff? You just bought Batman Adventures 12. What's up, Kanye Neff? You just bought Batman Adventures 12, 9.8 potential ungraded. I do not know what it's worth. That's a high dollar book, especially if it's 9.8. If you truly believe it's a 9.8, if you truly believe that, I would recommend to take it to your local shop. Ask them what they think. Maybe your shop's going to be cool with that. The shop that I work at, we're totally cool with that. If you guys bring in a book to get, there are people that bring in books to get graded in my shop, and we look at it and we go, dude, seriously, you're only going to get this much. It's not going to be worth it. Sometimes we're like, dude, you're going to get this. It's totally worth it. So if you got a shop that's cool like that, you can check them out. They may help you out with that because you'll probably have to go through them to get it CGC'd. I would recommend CGCing anything that's that high grade for Batman Adventures number 12. I would recommend CGCing it and selling it at the height of whenever Birds of Prey or whatever, whenever Harley Quinn hits a peak, I would recommend selling it if you want to get rid of it. You may also want to ask them if there's somebody around them that they know where you can get it cleaned and pressed, and that may even increase the grade. So that's what I'd recommend for that book. Because with the money that you could get from that book, you could buy so many other comic books and just read more and experience more and change your mind more. And that's what I think is the best thing about comic books that incur value, so that you can sell them to buy more. Well, I hope, Thor, I hope that you get the streaming service as well. Yeah, like over in Europe, a lot of you guys, you have to wait a long time for those books to be translated, if they even do that. And that's cool. Do they translate them for you guys? If they do that, that's super cool. Like, for instance, people have gone to Europe for me and they brought me back German comics and Italian comics, but they get them so late. But they also get them in a different format, because apparently the European comic book market is way different than the American comic book market. But I really think it sucks that they're not able to get those translations out week of, but I understand there's so many different languages to translate it into. But I think it would be better. I mean, comic books are loved worldwide, and it would be nice if everybody got access to them pretty much at the same time. I'm liking what he's doing on Bloodshot Salvation right now, but I got to go back and read all of it. What's up, Nelson? How you doing? Welcome. Nelson's one of our huge fans. We like Nelson a lot. I think Nelson's a cool dude. Lost track of time, so he's late for the stream because he was building a bookshelf for his trades, because he bought the Swamp Thing trades by Alan Moore, and that's why he was late. Well, dude, that's a good excuse. That's a great excuse. Excuse me. That beat means that it's sunset. Nelson, what's up? Yeah, I just had to buy a new bookshelf for my books. Basically, I'm having to take 3 rooms of stuff and merge them into one. That's why it's still a little bit of a mess. Pretty crazy. But heck yeah, welcome, buddy. What was your pick of the week, by the way? I don't know if I realized it. By the way, Nelson's book on the PCP Army. If you haven't joined us there and you're on Facebook, go find the PCP Army and send us a request. It's a fun little group. We try to keep up on pop culture news and funny memes and things like that. You can interact with me and the other members of the excitable PCP crew, as we call it. Damn, Armin is still up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, thank you for joining us, buddy. I appreciate it. We're going to do an Invisibles look video sometime soon. Probably within the next year, Armin. But we should definitely talk the Invisibles. Heck yeah, man. Just get it cleaned and pressed. And if you can get a 9.8 out of it, man, slab that and sell that. At this point, I would recommend selling it. If they do the Birds of Prey movie, whatever the next movie is that has Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, sell it there. Sell it there. You sleep late. Heck yeah. Absolutely. All right, guys, I have to take a bathroom break. So we're going to pause for just a moment, and we will be right back. So this stream is going to end, but the second part, is going to start in about 5 minutes, guys. So I'll be right back. Okay, guys? Peace. Do it.